Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for a max effort lower day. But a quick reminder for those of you who watch these videos, please remember to click like down below. It would be greatly appreciated. Alright, so based upon the miss that you guys saw me missing, that 280 kg lift in meet, it's stuck right at the bottom of the knee. I obviously need more hamstrings, okay? So right now, quads, hamstrings, triceps are going to be a very, very, very high priority for me. However, I also need to do my maxes in a way that help me through that weak link. In other words, I have to learn to get faster through that sticking point, and learn to accelerate through it better on the neural drive side. So I chose to do 75 pounds of band tension because the bands kick in at full tension right about the point where I missed. So I wanted to have 600 pounds there through a max effort day. Now, obviously, I'm not going to take it to 100% max. It's going to be very, very close. That was well above 95%. It wasn't quite 100, but above 95%. And the lift I missed was 617 at the knee. After 573 just flew up easy, and then I did a RDL to set it down gently on the floor, breaking a state record with that. But that next one, it really stuck right there. So I wanted to pull 600 pounds through that spot fast. And I'm fast off the floor, so I wanted to hit the bands and then practice pulling through there. And, the lift looked pretty good. I'm happy with it. It was nice and smooth. It was obviously heavy for me. I obviously had to strain. And that's kind of the point. If you listen to, again, people like Dave Tate talk about max effort on conjugate, we do a couple things. One, you want to learn how to strain against awkward things. Number two, it can be beneficial to pick max effort lifts that challenge your weak links, because the ones that challenge your weak links are going to help you learn to grind through those positions. Okay, so we like to have ones that pull you into angles that really, really make your weak links come out more, or use things like accommodating resistance, or if you need to, partials that make you work harder through your weakest point in the movement. So that again helps with the neuromuscular efficiency, intramuscular coordination, all those things where you're weakest at. And they help you learn to explode through those weak points, whether they're, at the bottom, at the lockout, in the middle, wherever they happen to be on the movement. And then we want to put extra hypertrophy into the most important muscles there. Now, I believe honestly that it was hamstrings. So I'm going to keep doing a lot of hamstring work. But also this is my lower day, and quads need to come up for my squats again. My quads have shrank. So what I did, kind of like I did yesterday to get these workouts down, I want to get these workouts done inside of an hour. That's usually my goal right now. And people say, well, don't you need more? Well, no, I'm doing an extra GPP. We're going to get the conditioning up and the work capacity up with GPP. And I want the work density high inside these workouts. I want to get as much training adaptation as I can, and then get back out. Okay. And they're not always going to be inside of an hour. The goal is to keep them inside of an hour. And so far this week, I've managed to pull that off. I think I only had one workout go over. And so again, I'm making good time, and it only went over by like 5 minutes, like a 65-minute workout. So the goal is for me right now to get them under that. So what I'm doing, I'm supersetting a lot of the supplemental lifts. Why? Because if we're careful with what we pick, especially if there's some opposing muscle groups, there is minimal impact, right? You have to be in better shape. It'll also help keep you in better shape. This will add to my conditioning, okay? It'll add to the conditioning because work density goes up, heart rate stays up, because you're not getting as much rest. If, let's say you're doing 3 minutes between your sets, but there's another exercise in between, right in the middle. Your heart rate and stuff is staying up, breathing is staying higher. So your conditioning is going to improve from it, but you also need to be in shape to pull it off. So that's what I'm doing. So for these, I did the really close grip ass to grass belt squats. Okay, and this is the first time I've managed to do 5 sets of these in one workout. So I'm trying to take these as deep as possible, because I need the quads to grow. This is going to be a primary quad exercise for me. Now, obviously, it hits glutes and adductors. It hits glutes and adductors, which is what we want. But I need the quads. And the whole goal here, I'm trying to look at stimulus to fatigue on a lot of these movements. All right, this exercise lets me hit the quads as hard as possible with zero axial loading. All the weight is put on the hips while minimizing the fatigue that is placed upon the body. Okay, we're minimizing fatigue overall because I'm forced to use a lighter weight and I'm taking the quads into a deep stretch lengthened position where they're going to have the most hypertrophic potential. What does that do? That'll help my squats, and then it'll help me drive off the floor on deadlifts. Now we know I'm good off the floor on deadlifts, like we saw that in this in meat. It popped off the floor real fast. Then it stuck. But we could also make the case of, if I can get off the floor even faster, I can drive through even quicker, right? I can drive through even quicker. So it could potentially help there, but really primarily it is for the quads and for the squats. Now there is also glute involvement and stuff here too because of the deep squatting, which again does help with deadlifts, but I feel like the deadlifts are most hampered by hamstrings. So I went ahead, I managed to squeeze in 4 sets today of the glute ham raises. I want to build up to 5, but the 4, my hamstrings were just feeling really, really hammered. I want to build back up to trying to do 5 sets of them, but we got 4. I've been doing 3 sets, but the hamstrings have to get stronger. I've got to get them back to where they were when I was pulling 625 real smooth, which was a few months ago. But I've also been cutting, and I'm still continuing to cut, but I'm going to work on rebuilding that muscle. So again, we need the hamstring work. Now, a lot of that will be helped by my speed work, because I'll do speed pulls this next week, and I'm doing, relatively heavy speed work with a lot of volume. So those same areas will get re-hit again then, because then we'll do the supplemental work afterwards. And again, a point I keep having to stress with people that, they're lost on the fact that speed work causes hypertrophy. It does. Absolutely does. So for the next set of lifts, I did supersets with some pull-ups. I was thinking about doing extra seal rows again today, but I'm like, I have been doing pull-ups in the rotation. The neutral grip seems to feel fine on my shoulders. So let me just do some pull-ups today for my extra back work, which we did. And I only did 3 sets today. I need to build these back up. They started getting challenging at 3 sets. And then I supersetted these with reverse hypers. And of course I did 5 total sets of those. Also today on the reverse hypers, I took the weight down a little lighter. I'm trying to stick kind of with what a lot of times I program for clients, or kind of West Sides type percentages with these, and trying to focus on getting that range of motion at the top. I want to really try to squeeze my glutes as I come up and control the weight as much as possible. It means I've had to take another plate off each side. So it's not as heavy now, but I'm trying to focus on the quality of the work, quality of the reps, and still getting the restorative effect, getting the glute, the erector, and the hamstring development from it. So again, high priorities for me. So we did 5 sets of those today, which really, even if we don't count the deadlifts as a set, that gave me about 9 total sets for posterior chain, hamstrings, all of that. And so again, kind of do the math. If we do this twice a week and I build up to 5 on each, that's going to be about 20 total sets for the posterior chain, which is a lot, but hamstrings and stuff are a high priority for me. The thing I want everyone to notice every single exercise was traction based. All of them were traction based outside of the deadlifting, because I'm getting a lot of axial loading with that. And since I'm doing the speed work heavier now and everything, there's more axial loading. Again, making sure that my recovery stays there. Nothing loaded the spine today. Everything was traction technically, other than the hip squats. And some people feel that they're traction, but in a way they're really not, because it's traction around the hips and your feet are planted on the ground. But at least it's 0 axial loading. And then the same thing with my ab work today. After I finished all the reverse hypers, I did 1 set of hanging leg raises. Okay, and the idea here is I wanted my ab work to create further traction. So everything was hanging today. Everything put my spine into a traction position, other than in theory the belt squats. But again, 0 axial loading there. So the question becomes why? Again, overall recovery. We want recovery from all of it. We need restoration. So I need that traction placed upon my spine due to the heavier pulling and stuff. Just something I've learned is extremely helpful as I get older. And then you guys will see me here at the end finish up with this last set, which will be hanging leg raises. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.